Hi, today we are going to do some applications on fiscal policy tools. Hopefully by this time you read the PowerPoint and watched the videos on fiscal policy tools and on the multiplier process. And now we are going to get started on some application questions. We are going to work on some of the ones I posted for you just to get you started. So let's suppose we do number 1 from applications. Number 1. So let's see what it says. Suppose the MPC equals 0.6, marginal propensity to consume is 60%. If the government stimulates the economy, so if government spending is 100 billion, then aggregate demand will increase by how much? This is what we have to solve for. So from the PowerPoint and the videos, we know by now that increase in aggregate demand equals increase in government spending times the multiplier. And the multiplier is calculated as 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. So we can calculate this one. 1 divided by 1 minus 0.6. So that's going to be 2.5. So now we know this multiplier over here. We know government spending is over here. So we can calculate increase in aggregate demand equals increase in government spending is given 100 billion times multiplier 2.5. So this is going to be $250 billion. So this is an application on government spending effect on increase in aggregate demand. Let's work on another one. Now let's see one in which we have a little a different way of stating the problem. Okay, so let's work on number 3 from the same application number 1. To eliminate a shortfall of 100 billion, so this time we know aggregate demand, a shortfall of $100 billion when the economy has an MPC is 0.5, then the government should increase spending by how much? Well, we are going to use the same formula. So increase in aggregate demand is increase in government spending times the multiplier. Now, we know the aggregate demand in this case, but we don't know the government spending. We can calculate the multiplier, 1 divided by 1 minus 0.5, so that's going to be 2. So now we plug into this formula here for what we know to calculate increase in government spending. So we have increase in aggregate demand 100 equals, we don't know increase in government spending, times multiplier 2. So increase in government spending is going to be 100 divided by 2 is $50 billion. So it's the same kind of problem we did earlier, but in this case we switch this original formula over here to calculate for increase in government spending. Now let's do an application with the second tool. Second tool was decrease in taxes. So let's see, we're going to work on number 4 from applications number 1. So here we have, suppose that MPS, which is marginal propensity to save, equals 0.25, then means, so the problem says an MPS of 25 means that a 50 million tax cut, so we have a tax decrease is 50 million, will increase spending, increase aggregate demand by how much? So for this tool, the second tool, decrease in taxes, we have the following formulas to use. we have 1 increase in consumption is decrease in taxes times marginal propensity to consume, and 2 increase in aggregate demand equals increase in consumption times the multiplier. So here you see in the first formula we need MPC, not MPS, the one that's given. But we know that MPC plus MPS equals 1. What does it mean? Marginal propensity to consume, how much I consume plus how much I save, has to be 1. The money I make, I either consume or I save. So using this formula here, we can figure out that marginal propensity to consume, the one we need over here, is going to be 1 minus MPS, so 1 minus 0.25 given in the problem, so my MPC is 0.75. So now let's plug into the first formula here. Increase in consumption is decrease in taxes 50 times marginal propensity to consume 0.75, which is going to give me increase in consumption. This is 37.50 million in this case dollars. Now to use the second formula over here, let's calculate the multiplier. Multiplier is 1 divided by 1 minus MPC, so is 1 divided by 1 minus 0.75, so it's going to be 4. Now we can calculate increase in aggregate demand. We have increase in consumption that we just calculated, 37.50 times the multiplier 4, which is going to give us an answer of 100, in this case was $1 million. So you see, for this tool we have these two set of formulas to use, not just one like in government spending example. Now let's do another application with the third tool of fiscal policy, which is transfer payments. Transfer payments. So the formula used for the transfer payments are 1. Increase in consumption is increase in transfer payments times MPC, and 2. Increase in aggregate demand equals increase in consumption times the multiplier. This is a similar tool to the tax cut, except that instead of the tax cut we have increase in transfer payments. That's the only difference. So let's see which one we can find. Let's do number 5 from application number 3 posted for you. Let's see what it says. To eliminate an aggregate shortfall of 100 billion, so we have aggregate demand shortfall is given as 100 billion when the economy has an MPC equals 0.8 or 80%, then the government should increase transfer payment. Government should increase this transfer payment by how much? This is what we have to solve for. So let's see, now we know the aggregate demand, it's given over here, but we don't know the transfer payments. So since we know the aggregate demand and we can calculate the multiplier over here, we can start with formula number 2. So the multiplier is going to be 1 divided by 1 minus 0.8, that's going to be 5. And now we work on formula 2, increase in aggregate demand, which is 100, equals increase in consumption we don't know, times the multiplier 5. So from here we have increase in consumption is 100 divided by 5, which is $20 billion. So now we have an increase in consumption. What we can do, we can substitute this increase in consumption in formula number 1. and solve for transfer payments. So we go in formula number 1 and we have increase in consumption 20 equals increase in transfer payments, we don't know that, times marginal propensity to consume is 0.80. And then we solve this equation. Increase in total transfer payments equals 20 divided by 0.8, which is going to be $25 billion. So that was the exercise with transfer payments tool. Now I'm going to ask you to work and finalize all the applications posted for you.